Now listen, these are all the things we have seen so far. And now we are going to see another important thing, uh, erythrothrio configuration. So these things we have already seen. So the differences, the important properties of diastereomers, and the distinction between diastereomers and enantiomers, and all these things we have seen. Diastereomers are they are not mirror image relationship, and enantiomers are of mirror image relationship. Diastereomers have different physical properties, and enantiomers will have similar physical properties. Diastereomers can be separated, whereas enantiomers cannot be separated. And diastereomers may have the rotation in the same direction, but a different extent. But enantiomers will essentially have the optical rotation in opposite directions. And the diastereomers may or may not be optically active, and enantiomers are optically active. Now look here, this is erythrothrio configuration. What is this erythrothrio configuration? Look here, this is a sugar unit called erythrose, where OH groups are on the right hand side. This is L-erythrose, that is similar groups are on the same side. But here, when they are on the opposite side, they are called threos. This is D minus threos. I have already told you why we put this capital D. It is because the lowest carbon has the bulky group on the right hand side. Here, the lowest carbon has the bulky group on the left hand side. And here, the lowest carbon has the bulky group on the right hand side, so it is D minus threos. And this has the bulky group on the left hand side, so it is L plus threos. So identical groups, if they are present on the same side, it is given the name erythro. Actually, this name is derived from the sugar unit erythrose. If the identical groups are in opposite sides, they are called trio opposite side. Now look here, separation of the racemic mixture into enantiomers. So what is a racemic mixture? The mixture containing D and L or dextro and levo rotatory compounds. It is called a racemic mixture. Normally, the separation of racemic mixture by chemical method or uh, physically we are not able to do because of the identical physical characteristics and the identical chemical characteristics. So the separation of enantiomers from a racemic mixture is called resolution. First method is biochemical method. In biochemical method, the microbes or bacteria, they will preferentially eat only one particular enantiomer, but the other enantiomer is left free. Say for example, if I have plus tartaric acid and minus tartaric acid, and I put the Penicillium glaucum, a bacteria, this bacteria will eat only plus tartaric acid. So after the plus tartaric acid is completely eaten by the bacteria, Penicillium glaucum, what remains in the solution is only the minus tartaric acid. But the main drawback of this method of resolution is half of the material is completely lost because it is completely eaten away. And the second method is mechanical separation. So the crystal structures, you can look at the crystal structures. If the crystal structures are different for enantiomers, you can handpick the crystals using the forceps. This is called a mechanical separation. And the third method is a chemical method. Here, you are taking an enantiomer and you are allowing the enantiomer to react with a reagent, And after the reaction of the reagent, you are getting a diastereomer, and the diastereomers can be separated. So diastereomers are separated from the enantiomers because of the difference in the physical properties such as solubility. You can make use of the fractional crystallization technique and you can separate. Say for example, suppose the racemic mixture has a plus A and minus A, and I'm allowing this to react with a reagent minus B. Now the minus B is able to react with the plus A and minus A, and what you are getting is plus A minus B and minus A minus B. Now these two are diastereomers, whereas these two are enantiomers, but these two are diastereomers. So the plus A minus B combination and the minus A minus B combination, they differ in physical properties. So from this, you can separate them by fractional distillation or fractional crystallization, and then you can use some other reagent to remove the B, and then the enantiomers are separated. Another method, see this is a example for the chemical method, the racemic mixture of the tartaric acid. When it is allowed to react with minus chinconidine, see chinconidine is actually taken from the cinchona bark. It is similar to quinine, which is an anti-malarial drug. That chinconidine, when it reacts, what you are getting is the minus chinconidine and the minus tartaric acid, they are less soluble. Whereas minus chinconidine and plus tartaric acid, this combination, they are more soluble. So the more soluble and the less soluble substances can be separated. And then you can acidify and you can get back the tartaric acid. And the fourth method is selective adsorption in column chromatography. What is column chromatography? The movement of molecules with the difference in the adsorption on some adsorbing materials like a silica gel or alumina gel. So this is a column chromatography. Normally, if you take a starch as the phase, selectively it absorbs one enantiomer and leaves the other enantiomer. Say, for example, plus or minus Mendelic acid can be separated by column chromatography with starch. Another thing is kinetic method. In the kinetic method, different enantiomers react with different speed. Say, for example, minus menthol, it will react with Mendelic acid at a faster rate, whereas plus menthol will react with Mendelic acid at a slower rate. So, before completion of the reaction, the product of one particular enantiomer will dominate in the mixture, so which can be separated easily. And the another method is crystallization by inoculation method. Inoculation means we are using a seed crystal. When a seed crystal is introduced, the crystallization of similar crystals will immediately start. Now, suppose I take a supersaturated solution of a racemic mixture and I inoculate with plus isomer crystal. Automatically, all the plus isomers will be crystallized at a faster rate. Say, for example, plus or minus sodium, ammonium tartrate, and you put one particular isomer in crystalline form. Say, for example, aspargine, which is isomorphous with minus compound. And then what happens? All the minus compounds will get precipitated first. They will get crystallized first. Now, the seed crystal, which is used to initiate the crystallization, inoculation, is called entrainer. And this process is called entrainment. Now, this is another important idea called Walden inversion. What is this Walden inversion? Look at this chiral carbon. This carbon is attached to bromine, hydrogen, methyl group, and Se6H13 group, octane group. And this is called minus 2-bromo-octane. So when it is allowed to react with OH minus, this OH minus, it replaces the bromine. But what happens when the bromine is replaced by OH minus? You are getting 2-octanol with a plus sign. See, originally this reactant was levorotatory, but after reaction, this becomes dextrorotatory. You may understand why this OH is getting attached in this position. Actually, this OH is replacing this bromine, but it is not directly replacing this bromine like this. This is attacking this carbon from the rear side. It is getting attached here, and then the bromine is pushed out, and then the hydrogen is twisted here. So this type of reaction is called SN2 mechanism. That is nucleophilic substitution second order mechanism. So rear attack. So in SN2 mechanism, we are speaking of some 5 coordinated transition state. Now, this is called inversion of configuration. So this is called Walden inversion. But when you take the SN1 mechanism, in SN1 mechanism, carbocation is formed. Look here, this is carbocation. This is isopropyl group, an ethyl group, the methyl group, and a bromine. What happens? First, the bromine leaves, and what you are getting is a planar carbocation. Carbocation is a planar. Carbocation is a planar now. Now, I want to switch on the camera so that you can understand a little bit more. Let me see whether you are able to see. I think it's not getting in. Okay, right. In the next class, I will teach you. Okay. So this is a planar carbocation. So when it is a planar, the attack on both the sides are equally probable. So when the attacks are equally probable, what will happen? The ethoxy group can attack either above or below. When it is attacked from the above, you are getting one type of isomer. And when it is attacking the same carbocation from the bottom, you are getting another type of isomer. In the first isomer, the configuration is inverted. In the second isomer, the configuration is retained. So this is inversion, this is retention. So configuration inversion and the configuration retention is possible in the case of SN1 mechanism because of the intermediate, carbocation intermediate existing, which is a planar. So the attack on both the directions are equally probable. But in the case of SN2 mechanism, it is passing through a 5 coordinated transition state where only inversion is possible because the attack is only from the other side. So this is about the Walton inversion. Now, another thing is asymmetric synthesis. What is asymmetric synthesis? You are producing an asymmetric compound from a symmetric compound. So what is asymmetric synthesis? Asymmetric synthesis is the synthesis of an optically active chiral compound from non-disymmetric, that is a chiral molecule under influence of some optically active substance. So all the biological synthesis, mostly asymmetric, biocatalysts. Look here, you can take a propionic acid. See, the propionic acid is not an asymmetric compound. So when it reacts with, look here, you are getting a big chain. When it is reduced, you are getting this one. So when it is further acidified, you are getting lactic acid. So getting lactic acid with the help of propionic, this with the help of this molecule and menthol, this is what you are getting. So this is how asymmetric compounds are produced. So with this, we come to the end of this class, and let us see in the next class. Any doubt you have? If you have any doubt, you are feel free to ask. Propionic acid plus bromine, you are getting bromopropionic acid, which is a chiral compound, whereas propionic acid is not a chiral compound. Any doubt you have? Aishwarya?
Sir?
Is it clear?
Clear sir, but அந்த RS notation மட்டும் வேற compounds different groups வச்சு இன்னொரு தடவை சொல்லித்தாங்க sir.
Sure. Okay.